Hey, what's up, YouTube fans? So, what I wanted to talk about in this video, right, is one of the biggest fallacies that will be made, right, when someone tries to make a argument of irreducible complexity, right? I was encountering this again the other day on the internet, where they will think that if something is necessary for human survival, that therefore demonstrates that it's irreducibly complex. Because so there was this guy responding to something that I said, defending evolution, and he was saying, please explain to me how our ancestors survived for billions of years with no brain or heart or lungs. um, and I responded to him explaining that it isn't really the big stumper of a question he thinks it is. It's really not difficult at all to explain, because there's some animals which have none of those things, right? All of the most primitive animals, like sponges, jellyfish, flatworms, they get on just fine without any of those organs. And then none of those organs needed to be at the level of complexity that they are in humans from the beginning. Because he was like talking about like having like half organs. He was like saying like and how did they survive with half a stomach? But I mean, none of them have to be at the level of complexity that they are in humans in order to work at all for any creature. Like in the case of the heart, we have a four-chambered heart, but that's because we're mammals. Most reptiles and amphibians have three-chambered hearts. Most fish have two-chambered hearts. Some animals, like earthworms, have a one-chambered heart. And in the case of the brain, us humans have much bigger brains than chimpanzees. Chimpanzees still manage to survive, and it's only because we're mammals that we have a neocortex, right? And they're unique regions of the brain for vertebrates. And vertebrates, the brain is divided into the front brain, midbrain, and hindbrain, right? So the brain didn't need to always be at its current level of complexity. um Even an earthworm has a brain, right? It's obviously not as complex as the human brain. um and so, I was like explaining these things. Also, he was like saying with the reproductive organs, I was saying about how, we didn't always need to have external testicles from the beginning. That's only because we're Boreoeutherians that we have external testicles. And we didn't always from the beginning need to have penises. Some animals, there doesn't even need to be a penis for there to be male and female. Some animals, the males release sperm from like a hole that doesn't extend off of their body. It's only a penis if it extends off of the body in a type of way that allows for internal fertilization. But that's not the only type of fertilization, right? And our ancestors originally had a cloaca, which is what we still see in birds, reptiles, amphibians, and many groups of fish, where it's a single hole used for pooing, peeing, and reproducing. And we still have that during embryonic development, but it just later into development divides into separate holes, which is how we get the anus, and then separately the hole for peeing and reproducing, which also in females separates into two separate holes for both for reproducing and for peeing, right? And in some rare instances, a person can actually be born with a cloaca, right? And so, I was explaining all of that, but he then said that all of my examples were useless because they're all non-human creatures. But it's like, did you not realize that evolutionary theory predicts that we evolved from creatures that were not human? So whether or not something works for humans doesn't matter, so long as we can show that it works for some animals. Then if we evolve from creatures with a body set up more like that, then that will be enough to show that it didn't have to all be together in the way it is now all at once, right? And obviously for us to have evolved from creatures that didn't have a brain or heart or lungs, would obviously require that we evolve from creatures that were not human and have very different bodies from humans, right? So um it's a big misconception where they're thinking that if something doesn't work for humans, then that proves that our ancestors needed to always have that. But if we evolved from creatures that were not humans and have very different bodies from humans, then it really doesn't matter if it works for humans or not. It only matters, can we show that there's creatures that it does work for? And could we have evolved from creatures with a body set up like that? And so, all right, that's all for now. See you guys.